Hey, Brett here. I'll be practicing the science of stretching for Tai Chi and Bagua class for the next few days. Being going to be teaching it live here in Oklahoma City at about 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock Central on Saturday, November 7th, I believe. Anyway, more on that later. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So go ahead and stand your feet hip width apart, knees slightly bent. And all I want you to do is sort of bounce a little bit. Let your arms sort of flail. Just sort of shake your body a little bit. And while you're doing that, you're actually working on your lymph system. When we talk about movement as medicine, movement clears out the debris that your body creates from inflammation. Inflammation heals, and then to clear it out, you have to move. Shaking is a great way to move. So, shaking is something you do anytime, just standing there, just go ahead and give it a try. All right, now, what I want to do is work on moving our body through a full range of motion to sort of warm it up. And then we're going to incorporate also breath work into this. So, again, feet parallel, knees bent, tuck your tailbone. So maybe push your sacrum down and under. What I really want you to do is I want you to stretch your hip flexors. So sacrum down, maybe a little bit under. And then from here, open your hands up, look up as you go up, straighten your leg, still keep a micro bend, and then bring your hands nearly together as if you have a ball and bring that down your body. And then as you get back to your thighs, hands out, and imagine you're gathering energy of from around you. And as you bring your hands together, you form a ball of energy that's bright light, and then bring that bright light down through your body. Your head is enlightened, your skull, your throat, your chest, your arms, your waist, your hips, your legs. And one more time up. Take a breath in, grab a ball of light, and then exhale slowly as you work the light down your body. Inhale slowly. One last time. Pause and then exhale your body. Okay, now I want you to reach up like you're going to dive into a pool. Look up, maybe a little arc in your shoulders and back. Bend your knees, bend over, and then come on down as far as is comfortable. If this is where you're at, this is where you're at. Come on down as far as you're comfortable, and you're going to bathe in the springs below and grab water and pull it up your body. Let's do that another time. So reach up, almost like you're going to do a swan dive. Keep a bend in your elbows. You should be able to see both your hands in your peripheral vision. Slowly come down into the water and then pull it up your body. One last time. Exhale as you reach down, down, down. Now let's pause and inhale. And then exhale and draw up the water. Okay, now just stand here for a moment. Maybe lightly shake. Okay, now we're going to do some circle walking. You don't need a lot of space. It helps to have some kind of visual. So I'm going to go ahead and put a visual. I'll use a yoga block, something small. I'm literally going to walk around this, but I want you to, as you walk around it, so I'm going to try to keep my shoulder into the center. That's one thing. I'm also going to have a twist at my waist and my hips and my waist rather. and I'm going to look behind me. This is fine. This is fine. Something like that. We're going to walk like that in both directions. What we're doing is we're twisting our spine and we're doing just a little micro vibrations as we take a walk. It's not much, but if you do this on a regular basis, it's going to loosen your spine. It does wonders for your spine. But be careful, don't overdo it. So here we go. And what I'd say is take a symmetrical number of steps in both directions. So I'm going to go ahead and count it out. I'm going to count out to 36. Ready? And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really stretch out your arms. 9 and 11. Or put them down. 13, 14, 15. Look behind. 16, 3, 36. Okay, now to twist. Just sort of step, turn, and then twist your body back into the middle and the same number of steps in the other direction. So 1, 2. Remember, look behind you, twisting. I just lost count. I'll say that's 10. And we'll say that's 36. Okay, let's do one more thing here. So feet maybe a little bit wider, up to 2 hip widths apart. Bend your knees. Now, what I want you to do is just your arms are wet noodles. All right, your arms are wet noodles. Twist your waist and hip, and just let your arms flop. One of the principles we're going to be doing today is wet noodle. That is, whatever we're stretching, we want like your arms are right now, just waving and floating. You might need to use muscles elsewhere, but definitely muscles that are relaxed are going to stretch better. All right, here we go. All right, let's see. I've done all that. Da, 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 da. Okay, here we go. So we're going to get into our first actual pose. Now I'm going to do each of these poses for the same amount of time to go through the entire routine, but in maybe a little less time than I normally would. For time, generally speaking, we need 2 to 5 minutes. At 2 minutes, you start to relax the nervous system, and also you start to have a more permanent effect on the muscle fibers, the sarcomeres. 5 minutes, much beyond that, you're probably not going to get a lot more. Better switch to another pose. And the exception of the hips. The hips are so deep and complicated, and I don't know for you, me, tight. You might go longer. So here we go. I'm going to do this one. So what I want you to do is I'm going to get into the pose, and I want to show you a couple of options. Pick your pose option, and then we'll go with that. So option one, I've got a table, a chair, something elevated, and I'm going to stand in front of it, maybe about arm's length apart. I'm going to stand wide-legged, and then I'm sorry, not forget the wide-legged thing. I'm sorry. I'm going to bend my knees and bring my chest down, and then I'm going to do something like this and just sort of relax. There we go. And if this is where you're at, this is great. You stay here, keep going. Maybe eventually you get your legs mostly straight, and then slowly over time, you get lower, you get lower, you get lower, and so on. So over time, you want to generally go lower, and you generally want to get your legs a little more close to straight. One or more option, you might use the wall. You might be about one of your foot lengths away from the wall. Put your butt on the wall and then lean forward. Okay, so pick your option. We're going to do this for a few moments. So let's go ahead and get into it. And then I'll start the timer. Okay, so wet noodle, back to wet noodle. I'm relaxing my back. I'm allowing my back to just elongate if I can. Now, if you're up here on this, maybe your back's not stretching, that's fine. I'm getting a nice stretch in my hamstrings here. I'm just trying to relax and let Time and tension do their best. So that's another thing, passive time or tension over time. I already said 2 to 5 minutes. That's what we're going to do on this one, 2 minutes. We already started breathing, but now let's talk about breathing. You want to inhale to a count of 4 and exhale to a count of 8. I want you to exhale twice as long as you inhale. Inhale into your nose. As you inhale into your nose, expand your belly. When you expand your belly, you stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to calm you down and help with the muscles relaxing. So we're loose where we can be. What new? We've got some tension over time, 2 to 5 minutes. I'm going to breathe to relax. All right. I don't remember what I set the time to, but I think it's been time. Now to come out of this, what I want you to do is I want you to put your hand, one hand on one knee, another hand on the other knee, not on your kneecap, but above, and then push with your arms. Principle, just don't stretch, don't use the muscles you've just stretched until you get back into position. So I'm back into position. Here we go. It's fine. That's it. That's all you need to do. All right. Now, to sort of reverse that, what I want you to do is I want you to, if you can, take your hands and put them behind your back and interlace them. If you can't, maybe use a strap, a towel. You don't even have to do that. You can just sort of hold your hands. I want you to have your hands, your shoulders pulling back. And if you can, pinch your shoulders and look up and let that go. And let's do that one more time. Interlace your hands, pinch your shoulders, look up. I'm going to actually stretch my breastbone up a little bit as well and let that go. Okay, great. Now, next thing, I'm going to show you a couple of forms of the next one. Uh, the wall, if you have a wall, is great. That's my preference, and that's how I'll be doing it today. But if you don't have a wall and you happen to have blocks, this is a good version of the pose. And if you're starting out with the pose, you might do the blocks this way. You might go this way. If you're careful, you can go this way, but your choice. I'll start with this. And I'm going to lay my head between the blocks approximately on the ground. And I'll be on the ground in the other version of this pose as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my elbows here, like so, hands together. I'm going to just relax. Now isn't bad, but the special sauce is hands together. Take your thumbs and move them to the back between your shoulder blades, and then just allow this to relax. So this is an okay stretch right there for me, but I'm going to go higher. Got to be careful doing this. Okay, so now same thing. So that's a good version of this pose. I like this. Be careful doing it this way because if you compress your ulnar nerve, you're gonna well, you want like that. So be careful where you're pressing on the bottom of your elbows here. Now, the other version of this is against the wall. The one thing I would say is, are your hands slippery or not? And so you might use a little bit of water on your hands to sort of get your hands to be a little more sticky. In fact, and I'm going to do that. I have my water here. And by the way, you notice it's fine to have water while you're doing this. This is a practice that encourages rest and digest. So if you've got a full stomach, knock yourself out. It's not a problem. Okay. Now, why is this important? You're going to be doing a lot of torturous things to your shoulder in a moment. And you'll hate me for it, but eventually you will love doing this. At least that's my experience. So I put my head pretty much against the wall on the ground. So I'm lying on the ground, head towards the wall, head's basically touching the wall. Now let's see. Let me do this. Okay. So head on the wall, reach up, look up. I see my hands are about the same height, or actually the same height. And I can do this. I can make my hands a little bit wider if I want to. The last few times I've done it, I was wider, so I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. And then just relax into this. If you have the ability, you can just let your head drop. I can do that now. I couldn't do it when I started doing this pose, but these stretches have helped my neck. Come back to your breathing if you're having trouble. Are you distracted? Are you bored? You think boredom isn't a problem, maybe, and I can tell you that it might be. So here's what might happen. This is what happened to me. After doing these poses 3 times, I noticed that I had a crazy amount of flexibility. I went through the Science of Stretching basic, the classic program 1 week, the first week program 3 times, full times on each of the poses, except for this pose. And I had gained a lot of flexibility. So what I noticed was I was in these poses and I just was antsy to get to the next one. But the problem is you have to stay the time. So time, 2 to 5 minutes. We're only doing this for 2 minutes, but it's going to feel like a year. Okay. To come out of this, push with your stomach, place one hand down on the ground and then the next hand down to the ground. Just for a second, put your forehead on your hands. Just take a breath here. Okay, now put your elbows under your shoulders. And what I want you to do is I want you to push your shoulders such that I got a curve in your back, like a turtleback. Okay, it's a bit weird. Might have to work. I'm gonna have to work on the instruction for that. All right, now I'm gonna turn around here. Let's see. I'll whip the pretzel. Okay, so here we go. On the ground, we're going to do this pose twice because it's asymmetrical. That is, there's a side and the left side. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your right hand and put it in front of your left. Take your right hand and slide it to the left hand to the right. Notice my elbows have just crossed. That's great. The further you can cross your elbows, the better. And then once you're here, place your chin down. Now, if you need a pillow under your chest while you're getting started with this pose, totally fine. It might help you a bit. You're going to find it's hard to breathe but you will eventually learn how to breathe with your chin being compressed like this. Now, the last pose sort of pushed our shoulders together. The intention of this one is to pull your shoulders apart. So the skin between my shoulder blades feels like it's being pulled opposite directions. Now, you may not believe me, but after you've done this pose for a while, you'll start to fall asleep in it. So do use a timer on this pose. Go back to your breathing. Inhale for a count of 4. And when you do, expand your belly to stimulate your vagus nerve to calm you down. A lot of what we're doing is we're putting our body into an uncomfortable position. The autonomic system wants us to get out of it, but your conscious self is saying, it's okay. Let me breathe through this. You're allowing yourself to stay in and observe discomfort. And here's your reward. As you observe discomfort, you start to take more attention of your body. As you take more attention of your body, that improves your interoception and proprioception skills, both of which contribute to neuroplasticity and longevity and brain growth. Your hippocampus is producing, is it 700 new neurons a day, something like that? Give them something to work on. All right, come out of this, sort of press your stomach, and just for a second, put your hands together, forehead down. Just sort of wiggle your shoulders a bit. Okay, now here we go, other side. So now my left hand is arm is in front of my right arm. I'm gonna slide my left hand to the right, my right hand to the left, and my elbows cross. I'm gonna start the timer, and then chin down on the arm. Come back to your breathing. Inhale to a count of 4. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale to a count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you inhale, pulse goes up a little bit. As you exhale, it goes down. By exhaling longer than you inhale, you're calming your system down. You are using your breath to tell your body, your autonomic system, it's okay what's going on. Feel where you feel the pressure. Really identify. I feel it more on the left side than the right side, but it's still on both sides. It's fairly high up. Okay, to come out, press your stomach up. Bring your arms sort of under your head, hands together, and just put your head down for just a second. Okay, so we're going to try something that's complicated, and we'll just do it with the arms only. So what I want you to do is just comfortable sitting position. It doesn't matter. You can certainly stand to do this, but we're going to do it sitting. Right hand is palm up. So I'm going to bring my right hand into my armpit. I'm going to keep it going around. Right now, my hand is facing backwards, but I'm going to rotate it forward and back up again. So I'm bringing the hand in, out, rotate the palm upward. Same thing on the left side. So into the left hand, sorry, right hand. And then as the right hand goes out, the left hand comes in. And left hand goes out, right hand comes in. Look to the hand that's going out and push away. Lower your shoulders. This is a version of swimming dragon, qigong. All right, that's good. Now, for the next pose, I'm going to show you a couple different versions of it, and then we'll get into it. So, version one, you're going to start with in down dog position, narrow your pose. So, bring your feet closer, widen them, and then sink in like so. Okay, now, this is a great version of the pose. When I do it this way, I don't really get much between my shoulders. I want to feel something between my shoulder blades, so I'm going to elevate. Now, for the bench, here's a pillow, exact same pose, except the difference is I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to bend my knees until I can get some pressure in between my shoulder blades, and then I'm just going to sit here. This pose will pretty much always give you something in your hamstrings. And if you target your shoulder blades somehow, either on the ground or up here, you'll also get a nice release of your trapezius muscles, and just in general, your breastbone and your shoulders will, as your breastbone melts down, your shoulders will really get nice relax, get nicely relaxed. So let's go ahead and pick a pose. I'm going to pick this version of the pose for myself, and let's go ahead and get into it. So we talked about wet noodle earlier. You want the muscles that you're stretching to generally be relaxed. But what about my legs? My legs are straight out. That's fine. There's a micro bend in my knees, not much, but my hamstrings are getting a stretch, and that's fine. In fact, I'm going to tilt my tailbone a little bit, quite slightly better, stretching my legs, my shoulders, and then I'm going to relax. There we go. Really feel your body and make micro shifts. Try it out. Move a little bit, just a little bit, like a millimeter to the right, a little bit to the left, a little bit forward, a little bit backward. Really feel your muscles and try to figure out how to relax as many of them as you can. The more you do that, the better you get an understanding of your body. And again, either allowing those neurons that you're forming every day to have something useful to do. Do this before you go to bed. You go to bed, and that'll get written into long-term memory, maybe. Now remember, when you come out of these poses, you don't want to use the muscles that you're stretching. So I'm stretching my shoulders. I'm going to be really careful. I could try to use my core to get out of this, but I'm not going to. So instead, put your hand on the ground, maybe the other hand on the ground. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my legs and sort of shuffle my feet in a little bit. Hand on my knee, and then stand up. Okay, so there we go. Now, let's see. I don't remember what I'm doing after this. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now that we've done that, Take your hands as much as you can and one hand on top. So I've got my left hand on top and hug yourself, bend forward. There we go. Okay, then switch your hands, hug yourself, bend forward. There we go. All right. All right. Now, so for the next pose, I'm going to show you a couple of options and then we'll pick one and go with it. You're going to need a lot of pillow. So I'm going to do this one. And when I say a lot of pillow, I mean a lot of pillow. So version one, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bend my back. I want to get the line of support approximately at the base of my shoulders. Where if you were wearing a bra, that's where the bra strap would be right there. And that's going to give me a nice little bend in my back. So I'm going to have my feet pretty far away from here. This is awkward to get into, and it's going to be awkward to get out of. And you know what? It never doesn't get awkward. That doesn't go away. Here. Okay, now that's pretty good right there. Something like this. And then here's a key. Hands behind you pointing. This really gives you a great stretch. So this is one version of the pose. And if you need support here, you don't have to have your hands pointing back, but if your elbows are pointing back, you can put your hands under your head and give yourself some support. And this actually, in some ways, deepens the pose. So this is one option. This is a good option. This is an intense option. I'm going to put my hand on the ground to get out of this, and this is how I'd get out of it if I had just done the pose. The other option, using a brick. I could use that pillow as well. But if you want, you can do a version of it where you simply use a brick, like so. And then you probably want another brick for your head. Same thing. I'm going to try to get right along my shoulder blades there, just a little bit lower. And you can certainly turn the block higher. And then here we go. And again, hands. Here we go. So this is a good version of the pose as well. And in fact, since I'm here, I'll go ahead and do it this way. So here we go, 2 minutes. I just knocked over my water. This is the time to not get distracted by the water, which is probably mostly not spilling. Much on my neck though. Oh yeah, there we go. That's nice. There are two other things to consider when you're doing this stuff. And to come out of this, I'm going to sort of roll off to the side. It's how the pose feels, not how it looks. And I mention that just because do not hesitate to use whatever props you need so that you can get into a balance. Like if I'm trying to stretch my thigh, then I can do whatever I need to balance with my arms as long as there's pressure on the thigh. So that's something to consider. Use props liberally and throughout. All right. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't read my writing. Now to come out of this, let's go ahead and stand up. And let's do just a gentle bit of shaking, just just gentle. Okay. Also do a little wiggling. All right. So what I want to do now is take your feet and make them just a little bit wider, maybe 1.5 hip width. Take your hands, press them like this. Now, what I want to do is just start twisting side to side slowly. Okay, now when you get back to the middle, keep moving your shoulders, but leave your waist. Okay, now when you get back to the middle, leave your arms, but move your waist. Now, when you get back to the middle, start moving them opposite of each other. Okay, that's good. Now I need to turn the page. All right. For this next pose, you might need pillows. You might need padding for your legs and your shins. We're going to be on the floor. Already mentioned the shins. So, legs together. If you can't go back very far and you need a pillow, feel free to use it. Totally fine. But ultimately, what we're going to do is we're going to work our way back down, 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 down. Notice my feet are pointing. Plantar flexion, dorsiflexion is coming back. So plantar, dorsi, plantar, plantar there. So that's getting some ankle strength or ankle stretch there as well. And you're getting a little bit of shin and up here. Now, if you're able to do this, then maybe bring your feet apart. I'll go ahead and face in this direction. And slowly over time, maybe your bum will get to the ground. Let's go ahead and now in the pose, so I'll go ahead and start it. And this is fine. This you do not need to go any further back, but you might find slowly over time that you can work your way back. And that's fine. Do not go back unless your bum is touching the ground. Now, if your knees come off the ground at this point, that's okay. That's fine. I don't think I'm going to go any farther down than this, though. We'll see. And this took me several years to get to here. This doesn't make the pose any better, but I do like the way this feels. I'm getting a nice stretch my knees. So when you close a joint, you're flexing it. When you extend or open a joint, it's extension. So I'm going into hyperflexion here, or no, certainly maximal flexion in my knees. My shins are getting a nice stretch a little bit. My shins are definitely getting a nice stretch, and my thighs are nice, getting a bit of a stretch as well. Though if you want to stretch your thighs, that's a different pose. That's jackknife plaster. All right, now to come out of this, first of all, I'm going to get back into the seated position. And you may need to first just lift up a little bit to let the blood flow back to your knees, and then slowly come out. And maybe go into a tabletop and point one foot, then the other a few times, just to give those knees a break. Okay, great. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to stay on the ground and we're going to do a big twist. You might need something like a pillow for support, or maybe something like a bench, so that when you lift over, you have something to stop you from twisting too far. But I'm going to go ahead and just do this right here. I'm going to be on the ground. My back is on the ground. My head is on the ground. Now I'll show you a few options. Option one, I'm going to start. This is asymmetrical, so I'll start on my right side. I take my right foot. I'm going to hook my right foot sort of under my knee there, under my left knee. Left hand outside of right leg. Pull myself over, 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 over. And this is where you might use a pillow or something like that, because this is what we're trying to get here. This is where the twist is. So don't worry if you have to use a pillow over here. It actually makes this a nice twist. Now, another thing you might do is you might take your right foot and you might put it on the other side of your left leg. Same thing then. Left hand outside, twist. You might be able to move your leg down. That's fine. And then maybe you could double twist your leg around. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get into this. Now, my right shoulder is a little off the ground. That's fine. I'm not actually pulling with my left hand. I'm just putting the weight on there. Wet noodle, passive tension over time. Your 5 minutes with your breath. Inhale, exhale longer. Use props to balance yourself. It's how it feels, not how it looks. Sometimes your body's just going to say no, you might be injured. A couple other things. Do not do any of this on Advil. You need to feel the discomfort so that you know when you're going too far. And if you take Advil, you could go too far and do damage. Do not do this on any kind of painkillers. You can certainly do gentle stretching on painkillers, but don't do deep stretching on painkillers. You need the feedback. All right, now to come out of this, I'm going to untwist my legs if your legs are twisted. And what I want to do is I'm going to slide my right leg until my foot's on the ground and slowly twist back. Because you've really stretched your back, you got to be careful coming out of this. And then just sit here for a second when you get back to flat and see if you notice any difference in the right and left side. Take a couple breaths here. Okay, so now, same thing, whatever you did on that side, try to do on this side. So I'm going to take my left foot In my case, again, you can hook it behind the knee on this side. You can set it on that other side, the outside of the leg. Maybe you can get it down the leg a bit. Right hand outside of left leg, twist to the side, twist to the ground, knee to the ground. If you need a pillow or something like that to support you, you're fine. Don't worry if you don't get your legs twisted together. That took me 3 or 4 years before I could do that. And it doesn't do anything more for the twist because the twist is here, not over here. So don't worry about that. Again, I'm not pulling. There's a little bit of pressure, a little bit of weight from my right hand on my left knee, but I'm really not pulling. And you're probably thinking to me, you're probably thinking to yourself, are you crazy? Why the heck would I want to pull? And exactly, you don't want to. Again, to come out of this, untwist your legs if they're twisted. Get your left foot on the ground and then twist slowly back into the middle where your back is flat on the ground. Okay, now gently with your feet close together, touching is fine, or even a little bit apart. Just sort of take your knees side to side gently a little bit. All right. Now come on back up to sitting for just a moment. What we're going to do next, this is we're going to get into hip stuff. So in a tabletop, what I want you to do is take your right foot and you're going to swing it up here. Now, where we're trying to get a stretch ultimately is going to be hamstring on the front leg that is in flexion and hip flexors on the back leg that is in extension. You might need support. I used a big old stack of blankets for months to do this pose. So get into something like this where, again, your front leg is either straight up and down or even a little bit forward of that. You can turn your right foot out at 45 degrees. This leg can flail out or not, and then slide your back leg back. You might need to use some support, maybe something, a pillow for your knee. And let's go ahead and get into this and hold this for a couple of moments. Now, this is a big, big pose. This is one of my favorite poses. This is one of those poses that you might want to do for 5 minutes instead of 2 minutes. But we're just sort of going through the whole sequence real quick. And 2 minutes is enough for you to get a good sense of the pose and also to get some lasting change. One thing you might want to play with is right now, this is a nice stretch, but in fact, if I use something like a bench and I get my torso more upright, there's more pressure straight down. And so I'm getting a bigger stretch here. Also on the inside of my groin. So groin, hamstring, hip flexors, probably psoas, certainly the glutes. And if you ever care to try front splits, this helps with both front splits and side splits. So this is just a good general purpose deep lunge stretch. Much- I got a little bit left. Okay, to come out of this, push back, maybe curl your left foot toes under, slowly push back, and then slowly slide your foot back under, and then sit back just for a second. Okay, let's see. Done that, we've done that. Okay, so back into a child's pose. Take your left foot, swing it up by your left hand. There we go. And then rotate it out 45 degrees. Again, this left leg can flail out or not. You might have done this pose in yoga. That's fine. We are using yoga poses, but we have a different intention. Our intention is deep flexibility. So that's why it's how it feels, not how it looks. Okay. And now let's go ahead and start the timer. Now, these asymmetrical poses, nice thing about them is if you are especially tight on one side, do it longer. So if you do one side for 3 minutes, do the other side for 4. Don't do reps though. Just do one for longer than the other. Reps kind of defeat the purpose. If you have to come out and to go back in, that's fine, but ideally, when you come out, you lose some of the relaxation that you built up in your nervous system. I'm sure someone who understands physiology would cringe at the way I just phrased that, but I hope you understand what I mean by that. Yeah, elevate a little bit more as well. So notice my arm is locked out. If you're looking and you're not doing this, my arm is locked out, and I'm just using the peace finger knuckles, just the peace finger knuckles for support. There's bone structure there. Don't try to use the ring finger or the pinky finger. There's no bone support. Okay, now to come out of this, again, maybe push back a little bit, curl your right toes under, and then just sort of slide your foot back slowly. Now, this time, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and put your hands in front of you and sort of come back into child pose, and then sort of come forward. Don't actually do, just sort of relax forward, look up, and then one more time back. Okay, now we're going to stay in this position. I'm going to show you something. What we're going to be doing next is a squat in a sense, but it's going to be different in terms of its relationship to gravity. So we're doing something like this where we're coming down, 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 down. The difference is we're going to be on the ground doing it. All right, so I'm going to show you this from two angles, straight ahead and then straight behind. So I'm in tabletop again. I'm going to put my knees on some pads here. Now my legs are straight back. They're not together, they're straight back. And then I'm going to slide apart. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my tailbone and push into a seat. So I'm sort of sitting in back into this. And this is really hitting my hip flexors really hard right here. So that's what this is doing. Now you're also getting a stretch in the groin. That's fine. But what I'm trying to emphasize is the stretch going back. Okay, so now I'll show you that from the other side. And we'll go ahead and get into the pose. So starting at the tabletop, gonna have my knees on something so I can slide them apart. Legs are straight. Notice I've got my feet turned out. And then here we go. And I'm sitting back into this. And every so often, I'm going to spread my knees a little bit further, slide my feet out, and then go back in. And back to your breathing. Inhale to a count of 4. Exhale to a count of 8. Wet noodle, relax your body where you can. Allow allow gravity to pull your body down and do most of the work. Use props. 3 to 5 minutes, passive tension over time. Takes a couple minutes to get the nervous system calmed down, also the muscles calm down. At about 2 minutes, you start to do lasting change. After 5 minutes, law of diminishing returns for most poses. The one we just did, blaster, you could do that for longer than 5 minutes. Your hips can take longer, but still 5 minutes is a really good target for any pose. Consistency is what's important. Better to do it 5 times a week for 15 minutes because then what you're doing is you're training your body slowly over time. Okay, I'm going to come out of this. I'm going to push up and sort of slide my legs in a little bit. When you're in this one for a long time, it can be very hard to get out of this pose. So you have to really push up and use your core to sort of pull your legs in. Now, for this next pose, we're going to be seated. You might want to use a block. I'm pointing to a block that's off the screen or a pillow. I'll go ahead and use this pillow. And what I want to do is I want to elevate my rear so that I can have help from gravity to go into this pose a little bit deeper. So I'm going to sit on the pillow, feet together. Now, my heels are about 4 fists away from my groin because I want to go deep. And then I'm going to slide into this. Let's see. Here's the timer. Here we go. So I'm getting a nice stretch in my lower back. If the stretch in your lower back is too much, here's a little trick. It's called blockhead. This is a general thing. You can do this in most poses. Get your forehead on a block or just give it some kind of support and then just allow yourself to relax into it. Now, this is awfully high up. I'm going to go further down than this, but that's an example. Remember when you breathe, extend your belly. Stimulates the vagus nerve. If you sit all day long, you probably don't extend your belly. So that keeps you in your sympathetic system, keeps you on edge. Over time, over months, it increases your A1C. Inflammation markers are up. Reduce carbs, breathe a bunch, breathe properly a bunch. You can do wonders for your health over time. But it's not something you do, it's and then you're done. It's something you practice on the regular. It's a way of being. And if you can incorporate some healthy activities like stretching and breathing into your daily life, not you do not need to do an hour. But if you spend 10, 15 minutes every day taking care of your body like this, it'll pay dividends over time. All right, now to come out of this again, don't use your back or anything. I'm going to push up with my hands. All right, now I'm going to check something here. I think we're done. Hero, twister, yeah, plastic. Okay, we're not done, but we're done with the stretches. Okay, great. Wow, that wasn't so bad. I have no idea how long we've been going for, but it's been a while. All right, to close out, go ahead and slowly get into a standing position. Wait, do I have a transition there? No, I'm not going to get to the notes. Okay, so first off, let's go ahead and shake just a little bit. So feet about hip width apart, maybe just a touch wider, and just sort of bounce, just bounce a little bit. Shake and bounce. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to build up uh, a particular way of standing. And in doing that, we're going to try to engage our pelvic floor. So that's the exercise. We're going to do this over a number of rounds, and then we're going to close out with some breath work. So feet hip width apart, knees bent. I want to tuck my tailbone. I want to push my sacrum down and tuck my tailbone. And actually, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to extend my lower back as much as I can. And then imagine there's a balloon attached to the fontanelle. The fontanelle from where your ears are, the top of your ears, so top of the back of the head. As you pull that up, that will straighten your back. It won't be straight. Turn your hands in a little bit. So again, feet, knees bent, tuck tailbone. You're extending your hip flexors here. Hands turned in a little bit. Hold the head up. Relax your chest down. Let's try that again. So now, feet hip width apart, knees slightly bent. Attempt to neutralize your pelvis. That's what we're doing. We're flattening our pelvis, extending here. So I'm under, so down and under. Pull your head up. It pulls the neck back. Turn your hands in just a little bit. Relax your chest. There. Stand here for just a moment. This is known as Wu Chi. Wu Chi is before Tai Chi. Tai Chi is the balancing of yin and yang. Wu Chi, there is no yin and yang. It is the singularity. Tai Chi is balance in the duality. Wu Chi is before duality. All right, now go ahead and open up, relax your hands out, open up and look up. Grab a ball of chi. It's bright. Bring it down your body. Imagine your skull getting brighter. Imagine your throat getting brighter. Imagine your rib cage, your shoulders, your forearm, butts, everything all the way down, waist, hip, thigh, knees, shins, feet. And then open up and do another round of that. Inhale, grab a ball, and slowly exhale and do the visualization on your own. One last time. All right, now reach up, 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 like you're taking a swan dive. Bend your knees, come into a squat. Reach in, grab some water from the stream. And tuck your tailbone as you push up, pull that water up your body and wash your body with the earth energy. Reach up to the sky, swan dive down. Keep your arms bent. You can see your hands in your peripheral vision. Down, 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 till you're comfortable. Reach in, pull up. And one last time. And then just relax for a second. Stand here, just relax. Do a body scan. I'm tingly all over. All right. That's what I'm going to be doing live on November 7th. If you're interested, ping me in the comments and I can send you a link. Have a good afternoon, evening, day, whatever. Bye.